Wonderfully brisk November 22nd, meeting for the Village of Hampshire Planning and Zoning Commission at 7 o'clock. May I ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Frillman, if I could ask you to call roll.
Hoffman.
Here.
Self here. Mr. Neal.
Here.
Mr. Barak.
Present.
Mr. Rossetti.
Present.
Is a core. What does it say? Wetzel's?
Wetzel is, yes, he has tendered, is it officially tendered his resignation? Righty, if I could ask everyone to review the minutes from our last meeting, November 8th. Questions or comments, corrections?
Make a motion to approve our minutes from November 8th.
And I'll second it.
Gentlemen. Mr. Foley, roll call, please.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Self. Aye. Mr. Neal.
Aye.
Rossetti.
Aye.
That's the following, right?
No. Minutes are approved. Do not believe we have any old business. We shall move on to new business. First item on the agenda this evening is our review and approval of the Planning and Zoning Commission's 2022 schedule. Okay. Questions or comments?
I see you are scheduled for the day after Christmas, December 26th.
I did see that as well.
Yes. Going to be extra presents here for us.
One would assume.
Okay. Just question.
Yeah, I think we can leave that as it is and address that in a future agenda item. Unless we, I would imagine, Mr. Or if we don't have an agenda item, then meeting just kind of disappears anyway, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
Okay.
and you know, we always check ahead to see if there be a quorum, so if the 26th is not going to work, find another day.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the 2022 meeting schedule for our Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay, I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Rossetti.
Aye.
Mr. Neal.
Aye.
Self. Aye. Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Great. Takes care of that. Our next agenda item, public hearing regarding a petition for variance filed by William Investment Group Incorporated as the property owner of 268 Mill Avenue here in Hampshire to vary the rear and side yard setbacks and the like construction regulations in 6-3-7B of the Village Code to allow for the proposed accessory building in an M2 industrial general zoning district. I will entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make some motion.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Rossetti.
Aye.
And Mr. Neal.
Okay, public hearing is open. Mr. Schuster, we had no one sign up for public comment, so I think we can move right into our two guests this evening, correct?
Yes, sir. The petitioner is present in person.
Yes, sir.
Very good. I'll inform you that a notice of this public hearing was published in the Daily Herald newspaper on November 6, 2021. A certificate of publication is on file with the village clerk. The petitioner should let you know, first off, if he has notified adjacent property owners and posted a sign on his property.
He did furnish also US mail certified receipts. So I will
Okay,
take possession of those from Mr. Ray, I'm assuming.
And then we had it posted on the building.
all right. Sir, are you going to testify in this matter?
Me? Yes.
Yes. Is there someone also with you who may
My
testify?
wife, Lisa.
All right, if each of you would stand there in front of the camera, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
All right, who's first up?
I'm not sure exactly how this works. So basically what we're looking for
Well,
is,
hold on.
Yeah.
Take the podium and face the commission. That's
Okay.
fine.
It's all right. It's-
All right.
And tell them why they should grant you these 3 variances.
well, okay, so basically what we wanted to do is we bought the building and, we cleaned up all the mess on the property. I don't know if you guys were aware. I mean, it had abandoned vehicles on there.
Yeah.
It just looked like, so it's all cleaned up now and I just want to put a nice, basically like a garage, but I want to tuck it in the back as far as I can. That's why I want to go 5 feet off the lot line. And all I'm looking for is like a garage with the electric. I don't want to run water there or heat or anything. I really, because it's just gonna be storage. It's not gonna be a working garage. Because the way the building sits there, and it's only on 0.79 acres, it's kind of like a U that goes around it. So if you put that building 20 feet there, it's like a traffic flow pattern, it's kind of sitting in the middle of a yard. So the building to the north of it, I believe it's the north, they're right on the lot line. So obviously I couldn't go right to the lot line.
The automotive shop?
Huh?
The automotive shop?
Yeah, I believe it is. Right there.
Directly to the east, yeah.
Yeah, so they're right on the lot line. So I just want to go like 5 feet off, stick it all the way in the back corner. I could match the colors of the building. I want to build a pole barn. I think 95% of the buildings back there are pole barns. Yeah, is that it?
Mr. Steiner, what type of business do you operate, or do you plan to operate out of?
Well, so William Investment Group is just, it's like a rental company, so we do rental units.
Okay.
I own a crane company, so man cranes, and that's where I'm gonna be storing like pallet forks and rigging and, and probably some stuff that we, from our home,
Yeah.
the overflow storage, yeah.
I get it,
Um,
I get it. Just gonna ask a couple questions.
Sure.
So the secondary building is not gonna be used as an additional business or
No.
income generator, it's gonna be for storage.
Right, it will not be rented out and will not be a working garage.
Okay. So, just so you guys are aware, there are a couple things that we have to take into consideration as we approve variances, and I'm sure you guys have been, provided the list of things that we're gonna take a look at tonight. One of which is the physical surrounding shape or topography of the specific property involved being a particular hardship upon the owner as distinguished from mere inconvenience. So you guys did not build this property, correct?
Right,
You guys are moving into it.
Yeah.
Did you guys look into what it would cost to build a secondary building out of like material, which the primary building is brick? Did you guys even look into that?
we didn't look into it.
Why not?
Because the cost of building up a brick building and material supplies nowadays.
And I don't think we knew that was something we had to look at.
Would you guys say that would be a considerable hardship?
Yes, I believe so.
On improving that
Yes,
property?
it would be for us at this time, yes.
Okay. Down the list, I go, the purpose of the variation is not based exclusively upon a desire to make more money out of the property.
Right,
That is, so it is going to serve for purpose, you guys don't plan on renting it,
correct.
correct? The alleged difficulty or hardship has not been created by any person presently having an interest in the property.
Right.
Granting the variation will not be detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to other property or improvements in the neighborhood which the property is located. You did mention earlier in your testimony that there is a considerable amount of pole barns currently on Mill Street.
Yes,
So placing this may not negatively impact, right, the
Right.
aesthetics of the area.
Correct.
It's blend in. Okay. Okay. Those are just a couple things I want to touch on today.
okay.
If I may ask, as far as the traffic flow that you had mentioned, what would you be flowing in the gap between the existing brick building and the proposed structure? Because in reviewing the site, the surrounding area, there obviously are a lot of mobile homes and trailers, I'm assuming parked on the property behind this one. Do you have any plans for moving 40-foot straight trucks, tractor trailers, 18-wheelers, 53-foot trailers?
No, not necessarily. I think it would look odd putting a building kind of in the middle of the side of your yard, you know? And then we, you know, we might store stuff behind it. It'll be weird. I think the best look for the village, I would say, is tucking it all the way in the back there. And
Mr. Chairman, may I have the floor?
Go ahead, Mr. Rossetti.
Got a question. Are those trailers, those semis and those mobile homes and stuff, are those your property, sir?
no, they are not. The ones that are behind us, they are
Yes.
not. No, they're not.
They're sitting on someone else's property?
They are. Yes, they are.
And,
Yep.
and what is the reason for not maintaining the 20-foot clearance between the yard and the side? I mean, the back and the side.
Like I was telling them, aesthetically, I believe, you know, it would be sitting kind of in the middle of the side of the lot because you have a building right in the center and then you have, it's like a U shape around it. So if you're putting it like right in the middle, kind of like that, instead of
Okay.
tucked back. So aesthetically, I would think it would be more pleasing for you guys to have it kind of tucked back in the, you know, and I realized I couldn't go to the lot line, so I was like, 5 foot off seemed about, you know, reasonable.
A 5-foot clearance is a common in Hampshire for residential properties, but for commercial, it's common to have a 20-foot clearance. And there's a reason why that there's a reason why that ordinance was established. And I just want to know why we should vary from that 20-foot clearance.
My neighboring property, he's right on the lot line, so I don't know when the 20-foot came into. I don't, you know, but that's why I'm asking for the variance.
Yeah.
He's right on the property line. He's not,
I don't know why he's there, and that's not the issue of this.
No, I understand.
But you, by chance, know the age of that building there?
I don't, a lot of those buildings are older
Yeah.
back there. I'm assuming that's the reason there wasn't any
Yeah.
codes back then, maybe.
The code, yeah.
You had said that you were willing to match the color of the proposed structure to the
Yeah.
existing brick structure?
Yeah, it's kind of like a sandy brown,
Yeah.
maybe with white trim or something like that. You know?
It says light construction.
Yeah,
That's what you put in, light construction,
Like,
light. Like,
the ordinance stipulates like
Like.
construction.
yes.
Would it be something possibly for you to consider, or would you be willing to
it
consider?
would be too much money for us.
And even as you're going down Mill Avenue, I think it's RK Auto. It's a very similar structure to what you're looking at. It's metal structure pole barn, but then they've got the decorative 3 feet of brick at the bottom, just off the ground. Just something to even consider a little further to match architecture of the buildings, maybe like a brick fascia. It wouldn't have to be completely brick. Just something to consider, again, as far as aesthetics are concerned, and obviously that particular stretch of street is not the most visually appealing.
Right, that's what I was saying, you know, so I mean, if that's what you guys would require, then I could look into that. Obviously, it's an additional cost to do stuff like that, and none of the buildings have it back there. Well, except for your New Hampshire village building, I think it has.
Yeah, the
And
township.
that Yeah, and the one you
And the
mentioned,
RKO, I know.
yeah,
Yeah,
the auto shop. Mhm.
but this is, you know, tucked back away from kind of a visual on the street. That's what we're looking to do. And we did clean up the whole lot, so it looks a lot better than,
Yeah.
I took a drive through this afternoon, it looked really good.
The next-
So behind your property,
yes.
there's still gonna be portions of a gravel lot that has access off of Quick Street,
Yes, it's
correct?
kind of, there's a road almost. so
Yeah, I
that's
don't know
what your
whose road that
property
is considered, if
Yeah.
that's considered just a public access way, I don't even know.
or the
That is
property-
directly behind you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
Okay,
not
so
sure.
I'm just, as I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the aerial,
yeah,
trying to see where the placement of this building.
Yeah, there is like
the property.
a road or something.
Yeah,
you
there was no official designation I could find indicating that that was like a city street or a township street. I think that's just a private. That's where the property lines were and people started using it. Over time, a quasi road developed.
know.
Mr. Ray, is there any requirements to the building material that is used if an applicant was to propose a new building on Mill Street? I mean, does it have to be a brick building now? If the primary facility that was going up, could it be a pole barn?
So there's two things that I'd like to mention. First, to answer your question, the ordinance requires of light construction, which I think last year the village manager and the building department did not determine to mean, you know, exactly the same construction technique, but it was more related to aesthetic. So, you know, brick facading or something along those natures so that it would be aesthetically similar to the primary building. Is what the ordinance is looking for currently. The other thing I wanted to clarify is that I had not known that this was going to be a plan to be a pole barn. And what I just want to say about that is that on the building code side, the village doesn't allow pole barn construction. It can still be that style, right? It's, you know, there's a lot of buildings in the village that look like that, but from, you know, as soon as the code was passed on, they do have to be stick built, not pole construction. So that's just a clarification for the owners, I guess, because that is a building regulation, not a zoning code regulation.
Okay. Okay. It's just a metal, so it's the similar building, it's just the way it's put together, basically. So
Yeah,
the
I mean,
stick,
the pole building construction issue will come up when you go to get a building permit with the building department. They won't issue a permit for pole building construction. But, you know, just based on the pictures that you submitted in your plans, you know, that style of building is okay. It would just have to be stick built with a foundation.
okay.
And again, Josh, if this was a new building on Mill Street, it could be of that pole barn style, correct? If it was the primary building?
Right. If it was the primary building, yes.
Okay. And I wanted to bring that up because this gentleman and the company he represents did, you know, move into Hampshire into a brick building, which is one of the few that are on Mill Street.
Yeah.
And we do want to welcome you to town and, you know, continue for your business and to improve the site. But if you had moved 2 doors down, we wouldn't be asking for a variance on the building structure because most of the building structures are pole barn or, you know, those. So,
Yeah, that's why I asked the age of the building.
right. I mean, so that's kind of my sticking point is, you know, we do want to welcome you to town and, you know, to ask for your business or your company to, you know, have a hardship to build a brick secondary building in an area that is majority or primarily these pole barn type buildings. And it's going to be set back how far, I guess we'll get to that soon. You know, I would approve at least that portion of the request to build a pole barn style building rather than
If I'm counting correctly, this proposal is going to be 70 feet back from Mill Street. Ran out of fingers, so if anyone wants to spot check me. Plus green light.
If the building, if the primary building wasn't dead center in this property, I don't think I would have an issue moving forward, with, you know, asking to stay within our zoning regulations, with the 20 feet. Just doing some simple math, if they were to move it 20 feet from the east property line alone, that creates only about 25 to 30 feet in between the existing building and the, ends where the new building would be. You know, to me, it makes more sense aesthetically to tuck this building in that back corner rather than pull it forward and westward into the middle of that side lot because of now its new proximity to the existing structure. So I guess for me, I would be, I would be in agreement to allow both of these variances, all three, side yard back lot, and the variance in construction material. That's one of us.
Okay.
One of us. Until we vote on it, I guess I can let the other guys opine a little bit, but I would be.
Mr. Chairman, before you begin all the deliberations of the committee, you ought to be sure that you've had all the public input and then close the public hearing.
Understood.
Any other questions from the committee members?
Mr. Rossetti, any additional questions?
I guess what I'm really thinking is, if we do not allow the variance for the 20-foot clearance, would it be a problem for you to build a longer, more narrow storage shed so that you can still have the traffic lane you need between the buildings?
And again, I think it would still be an odd looking item. Like it would just look out of place, and yeah, being 20 feet off each lot line. I don't know how much smaller I would want to go. I went 2,400 square feet. I just figured, currently I rent out that where I'm at now. So I'm kind of just looking for the same amount of space that I have there to move everything out here. So I'm in Gilbert's right now.
I guess that's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Again, I think just for the record, if the building were to be pushed due west to allow for the 20-foot setback on the eastern edge of the property, that's just for the sake of argument, keeping the 5-foot rear setback variance as requested, but pulling the building west to account for the 20-foot setback. That still leaves 23 feet in between the corner of the proposed building and the existing brick building. You think 20, if that were to just be shifted west.
But if we were gonna put
Keep
like
that back
parking,
line.
if we were to put parking lanes in there next to the building, then you got, what is that, 20 foot right there?
20-foot width in between.
Yeah.
Is there parking on the property now?
There's no lines on the property right now.
So no designated parking spaces?
Correct.
What else is on the west side of the property? I see two other buildings there.
That's not our property.
On the west?
Is it, I don't know,
Yeah,
the
this
west?
one right here, look.
Yeah, there's a mobile
It's
home.
on your plat of survey.
Oh, yeah, that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there is it's like a mobile home right now, and one of the renters has got his
Space.
equipment in there. He's renting that.
Okay, is that storage?
Yeah, that's storage.
Okay.
that's storage for his pipes or something like that, so.
But that is on your property.
That is on the
Yeah,
property,
I
yeah.
think you
I
forgot
just,
about
I'm confused with west. and-
Yeah.
You know, you come in off of Allen Road and I'm all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The,
Sorry.
the Village of Hampshire Water Treatment, that's
Yeah.
the west side.
Okay.
And, the automotive shop, that silver building is the east
East
side.
side, okay. Yes, that is on our property, correct.
All right.
What are your plans for the west side, west end of the property towards that mobile home? Storage there, any
No.
parking?
Nothing right there.
Because he's got his thing there.
Yeah, his thing is
Yeah,
there, and I think
it's-
he was gonna maybe park a couple work trucks next to that or something like that, though I haven't seen any yet, as of yet, but, yeah, that was pretty much, I wasn't doing anything on that side. Just gonna utilize it for me on the other side.
And again, just for sheer sake of, discussion. Again, if we were to move the building west away from that existing metal building to satisfy the 20-foot easement on the east end of the property, you could, in theory, just have one lane going in between the two buildings, the proposed and the existing building, for parking at the rear of the brick building, or could you put parking on the west side of the building?
I haven't thought of that. I don't know. Does a fire truck have to get around there too? You know?
No.
Okay. So I think anytime you move it 20 feet off, I don't even know if we built the building. Just to be quite honest with you. It's just gonna look odd. Look out of sorts.
Understandably, the narrowness of the property north to south, this lends to some interesting discussion.
Yeah, I don't know why they built that building right there. I think it was existing and they just revamped it. Used to be like a slaughterhouse, I think he said.
Any further questions or comments from the general public?
Just to be clear for the record, I don't think there's any general public present. Isn't that right?
This is true.
I can't see from my vantage point on Teams, but I just wouldn't want the record to be confusing. There's no one else there, correct?
Correct, yeah.
All right, thanks. So is there anything else from the petitioner?
Oh, I think
I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Aye.
Roll call.
Mr. Neal,
Aye.
myself, aye. Mr. Rosetti,
Aye.
All right. That item C, correct? Officially our deliberation on the matter.
Yes.
I see no issue.
I will entertain a motion recommending the approval of a variance at 268 Mill Avenue to vary the rear yard and side yard setbacks and the like construction regulations in 6-3-7B of the village code to allow for an accessory building to be set back not less than 5 feet from the north and east lot lines instead of 20 feet, and to be constructed of materials or styles dissimilar to the principal use or building on the property.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Bill made the motions. Kaufman second. Roll call, please, Mr. Perlman.
Mr. Neal,
Aye.
myself, aye. Mr. Hoffman,
Aye.
Mr. Rosetti,
Nay.
Mr. Chairman, you should vote.
Nay.
Right. Motion passed 3-2. Is that right? Motion passed 3-2. There weren't
Yes,
four
sir.
affirmative votes.
Yep. And with the applicant present, Mr. Schuessler, can you explain what next steps mean after an affirmative vote tonight?
I'm sorry, was that directed to me? I had trouble hearing it.
Yes, sir. With the applicants present, can you at least advise them what the next steps are for them, since they are present with a affirmative vote?
Sure, sure. Well, the next step will be to report this finding to the village board at its meeting scheduled for December 2nd, 2021. It'd be at 7 o'clock in the same room. Final decision comes from the Board of Trustees, so it will be taken up as an agenda item that night.
Second.
Second.
7 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah, so what happens is they'll get a written recommendation from this board.
Okay.
They basically
Correct.
they'll have the minutes from this meeting as well as what the vote was. And then from there, they can also either move forward with the recommendation as presented, or they too can ask for changes to the recommendation.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you as well.
Thank you.
I will now entertain a motion authorizing the chair to report the results of agenda item 6C to the village board of trustees.
I'll make some motion. I know,
Second.
we like you to do it.
Roll call, Mr. Perlman.
Hank,
Aye.
Mr. Neal,
Aye.
myself, aye. Mr. Rosetti,
Nay. And the reason I say that is because this committee hasn't discovered that this is a particular hardship for the property owner. We are directed by ordinance to pass variances only if we see a hardship. And I don't believe that we should pass this. So I vote against submitting it to the board.
Well, just to be clear, the motion actually failed because a concurring vote of 4 members of the Planning and Zoning Commission is necessary on any matter. So even though it was 3-2, it did not have 4 concurring votes. Now you would report that to the board as your result. Mr. Rossetti, some report has to be made. The report will be that it was a 3-2 vote and 4 votes are required to make a positive recommendation.
Okay, I understand.
Mr. Schuessler, even though we are down a committee member, that 4-vote approval still stands?
It does.
Okay.
I did not know, but I heard the chair make a comment at the beginning of the meeting that Mr. Wetzel has tendered a resignation. I haven't seen it or been informed of that, but if that's the case and it's effective, that there's an opening does not change the 4 affirmative vote rule.
Okay.
Okay, well, Mark, Mr. Schuster, what's the difference between a 3-2 vote, affirmative, and a no vote then? If the recommendation.
Well, I would say that effectively there is no difference. All the same, there was some support on the commission for allowing the variances that were requested, evidenced by the 3 positive votes.
Okay.
And the Board of Trustees can, will take that into account, I assume, plus all the various comments that were made during the course of this meeting, public hearing.
All right, thank you.
Does
So is there Was there a motion to refer this, or did you just just announce? I've lost track. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
No, that was our, Mr. Rossetti's dissension.
Oh, he made a no vote. That's right, it was. Thank you.
Motion to authorize the chair.
Yes. But all the rest were affirmative.
So if I'm understanding correctly, that is just a duly noted and we move on?
Well, there'll be a report by you to the Board of Trustees on December 2nd.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And then I think that concludes your agenda items for the evening.
My understanding is I'll still do it, just Mr. Rossetti will be unhappy with me.
Oh, he'll,
That is not a true statement, sir.
Farthest from the truth.
he'll let you do your, the duties that are imposed on you under the ordinance, I'm sure.
Okay. We have no public comments this evening. I have no announcements to my knowledge. Mr. Schuster, are you aware of any upcoming meeting agenda items that are in the works?
I am not, but let's ask Mr. Ray. He sometimes knows better than I.
Nope, there are, there is one petition that has been filed, but the documentation has not been, all of the documentation has not been submitted, so we do not have it planned for any future meeting yet.
What type of petition is that? Is it?
That's the, that's for the rest of the Briar Hill Ventures property, Mark.
So it'd be a rezoning petition, potentially.
Yeah.
But it's not ready. And the day after Christmas this year is not a meeting date, so.
Yes, very good. Thank you.
All right, I guess nothing left else other than to entertain a motion to adjourn at 7:37 PM.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Hoffman, aye. Myself, aye. Mr. Rossetti.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
I get-
Thank you.